It's what you're doing, making me feel like I'm falling.
Hi guys, for today's video, I'm continuing with my long format content. I'm combining all of my series into very long movies because long format content is popular. It's something that I want to do, but I'm also taking a break from YouTube. I really appreciate you guys supporting me through this. I recently had a baby, went back to work, and I just need a break. So for today's video, I am combining every Create This Book page that I have ever done. I have done a ton of Create This Book pages, like so many over the course of 4 years, and it's really interesting for me to look back at the pages, and especially the way I edited videos, just the way I talked. As you do this, you get way better at talking on camera, at editing videos, and it's just like, to see the progress is really what's most interesting to me. Yeah, let's get started with every Create This Book page that I have ever created. Okay, we're starting off with pastel rainbow colors. And I kind of just eyeballed it here. I'm mapping it out with my hand. It took me a while to map out the colors underneath, but I knew I wanted the rainbow colors to be sideways in a line underneath this Create This Book symbol. It did get messed up at times, I will say that. Hi, hello, why am I doing that? Wipes paint on entire body. I don't like that. I wish it ended there, but then I painted over the same spot in the same exact way. I have no answers for you on why I did that. I will now be ad-libbing a poem about paint. Paint, 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 paint. You make me want to faint. You're so beautiful. It's like a saint. On that book. I love that paint. So much. I don't like it on my hands, but it looks very nice on, distracting. Oh my god, that's a lot of paint. Okay, and then I colored in this little colored pencil. Oh god, okay, yeah, this is probably the worst part of the video for me. I had to wipe it off so many times trying to do these drips. I am not good at the drips. I felt like the drips looked really good with the Create This Book symbol, so that's why I kept going for them. I wanted the drips, but the drips did not want me. At least the blue and purple ones. Had to wipe it off again. It's honestly astounding how many times I kept trying. That's something about me. I'm a trier. I'll just keep trying, even if I fail. Over and over again, I'll keep trying. I finally managed to get some drips I was kind of satisfied with, so I moved on to the border. I took a piece of paper and put it underneath there like Moriah Elizabeth suggests, and we painted that black. And then I took my Posca paint pen and decided to outline some things. I don't know if you can tell, but I tried to create like a drop shadow around the Create This Book symbol by outlining the right side in a darker black line than the left side. Yeah. And then I also outlined that scribble thing. I think that's like a puddle of... No, that's just a scribble. Whatever. I put silver in it too, which I think looks nice, actually. I really like the silver in there. We can't forget the highlights on the drips, and then I started decorating the border, and this is my favorite part of the front cover. I tried to make it look like a comic book. That was kind of the vibe I was going for this cover. So I took my Posca paint pens and lined up where the colors were in the rainbow and put them in the black part. I think it looks super cool. The only thing I didn't really like right there was the purple, so I covered it with gray. And this is the final front cover. I love it. I think it looks so cool. We're moving on to the back. So for the back cover, I wanted to do basically the inverse of the front cover. So whereas the front cover had a border that was in black, now I wanted the inside to be in black and the outside to be in rainbow, basically. So that's me filling in this back with black. I'm using my left hand there, and I wanted to just show you guys that I'm using two hands to paint with my left hand just so I could, like, have you guys see what I was doing. I don't know why I'm doing this. It's ridiculous. I can't paint with my left hand. I'm a right-handed person, but okay. We filled in that whole thing with black, and I let it dry. I think I did 2 coats of the black paint. While that black was drying, I was doing this on a piece of paper. Oh my gosh, I'm coughing. Okay. I was doing that on a piece of paper. Basically, I was testing out how I could make the colors from the front flow into the back and then have a wave of rainbow colors.
Very psychedelic, colorful.
So just so you're getting the picture here, that black part will not be black. It's going to be filled in with those little rainbow hearts. And it will look like a comic book. Or close to a comic book. I don't know. Maybe it won't. I don't know.
What?
So we're just lining up the colors here right now from the front to the back so everything flows nicely like a nice rainbow wave. This part I was a little less sure how to do. I was kind of just feeling it out. So we got the top part of the wave, and now we're going to add some hearts. Okay, so now we got the hearts. I think they look so cute. I filled in the creating tools, I guess you would call them, with silver, and I outlined those 2 pieces of tape with black, and I also outlined the tools in black. Yeah, okay. And then, so now we have the back cover, which I think looks really cool. We have the front cover as well, so the only thing left to do for the outside is the spine. So for the spine, I just wanted those rainbow colors, the paint colors, to flow evenly from the front to the back. So I just added them on the edge like so. I don't know what else to say about that. Yeah, okay. So we put those colors down, and then I actually ended up taking a white pen and covering Moriah Elizabeth's name because I thought it would be cool to add Bellamena there instead. I don't know. I compared these colored pencils to the paint, and I decided to add little hearts on the edges of the book where that color is, I guess, if that makes sense. So if there's like red over there, I put a red colored pencil. I don't know. I didn't really like that much, honestly, at the end. I didn't think it looked that great, but that's what it turned out looking like. I just have some little colored dots, bad hearts over there. Yeah. And now the finishing touches. I am balancing a book weirdly, and I'm testing out my name if I wanted it all caps or all lowercase. I decided to go with all caps. I added it there, added a little heart. And now we tape it because I follow instructions. And this is where tragedy almost struck us. Struck us? I don't know. Ugh, hate to see it. Honestly, bold of me to even attempt to remove it. Oh, it's looking good. It's looking good. Have you ever seen a miracle quite as miraculous as this? Honestly, I'm truly amazed we made it out of that taping scenario. I don't know how we did it. This is the front and the back cover. I love it. I think it looks so cool. What do you think? Do you love it? Do you hate it? I'm sorry my ring light is in the way. That's because of the tape. It's making it reflective, but it looks so cool. I love it. Okay, so now we're going to get started on the inside. I am going to decorate 1 page out of this in this episode. So I'm signing Bellamena and also Marissa, because that's my actual name. My name is actually not Bellamena, it is Marissa. Shocking, I know. So now we're going to go to the to begin create this book. So I'm just checking off the 2 things that I already did, like decorating the outside cover, decorating the spine and the pages. But now I'm going to be adding an image to the left side of that page. So I'm just sketching out something. I actually just sketched this off the top of my head. I didn't plan anything out. I was just going for it. It's a bunny. I don't know if you can tell that. It's the back of a bunny right now. And it's sitting on a dock. And there's water below it. I really loved the bunny's big bow and its big ears. I thought it looked super cute the way it was sitting. And I love arms like that. You guys know that from Seaford. But so I was initially just trying to get the basic colors down. I wasn't really coloring things in too darkly, so I went back and darkened things up after the fact, but these are just the initial colors. I did add some shading, like a shadow behind the bunny, because I decided to have this be a sunset. So the sun is really low, there's a lot of shade, and the sky is like an orangey pink color, lots of warm tones to this nice summer sunset. Maybe it's on a dock on a lake, or maybe it's on a harbor or a beach. I don't know, but I guess it's on a beach because there's some sand. Yeah. But this is the final thing after I darkened things up. After I was done coloring everything, I outlined it in Sharpie. I will say that next time, I think I'm going to take my sketch and outline it in Sharpie before I color everything in. I do think this turned out fine this way. I just didn't like doing the Sharpie after the fact. I don't know. But this is basically the final look. I cut it out and I used a purple glue. It comes out purple, but it dries clear. And then I taped it or glued it in to the book. And there's only one more thing left to do. It's my signature. So I've decided that my signature is going to be Bella with a little shooting star coming off of the A. I really love that signature, so I think I'm going to be signing that on every single Create This Book page, and I'm really happy with it. Maybe I'll put it on all of my artwork or something. This is the final look. Yeah, I don't know. I hope you guys have liked this episode, and I can't wait to get started on the rest of the pages of the book. Do you smell that? That, my friend, is the smell of fresh colored pencils. I don't like that. I just got these, and I have to say, they are worth the hype. I've never had such good colored pencils, and they are great. Oh, here's my Create This Book. We're doing a fancy name. I decided to go with my Bella signature with the star, and I picked out some rainbow pastel colors and started coloring. You can probably tell what's going on here, but basically I wanted that end of the A to be like flipped, the rainbow to flip like a weird, I don't know, it starts in reverse rainbow order and it flips under like a slide, I guess, and then comes up into a star. I think you can see it, but I felt like explaining it. I don't know. As a side note, I totally chose this music because I think it sounds like a star. I don't know, it sounds like space vibes or whatever. Okay, and I just want everyone to take a moment to pause and look at those colors. I mean, and take this with a grain of salt because you really don't need expensive products to do art, but as someone that has used only Crayola colored pencils their whole life, and I was completely happy with those, I totally am, but I really wanted to try these colored pencils, and they're like $40, which maybe not that expensive. I think they're pretty expensive for colored pencils, and they delivered. They delivered all right. They were like very soft, and they're just good. I liked them. That's all I'm saying. Okay, so now we are drawing in the sky, coloring the sky. You'll notice I left little white bulbs or orbs in the sky. Stars, Marissa, they're stars. I don't know why I did that. I colored those over, so just ignore those for now. But the basic idea here, you can kind of see, is that I was going from daytime into nighttime. Like, we have a rainbow in the daytime, and then we have a shooting star at nighttime. Get it? Yeah, okay. What? I also added a drop shadow to the lettering, decided the sky needed some clouds, and while I was doing that, I decided this was missing something, and I got an idea. Ooh, I got an idea. It's me. I decided to sketch out a cartoon version of myself, because I thought me saying hi with my signature on the first page of my Create This Book might be a fun idea. I don't know. It could be. So that's what I did. I don't know if it looks like me that much, but I tried my best to make it look like me. It's a vague similarity. I'm not the best at drawing people, but I think this turned out like an okay cartoon. Okay, and now we are going to piece everything together. Let's glue that little thingy in, glue it into the page, Mod Podge it, and this is the final result of this page. We're moving on to the rule box. Okay, so I don't know why I did an evil laugh with that. That doesn't make any sense. Basically with this, if you guys don't know what Create This Book is, I can give you a summary. The rule box is basically you make a rule and you follow it for every page in Create This Book. So whatever you say your rule is, whether it's include this color, include this symbol, you have to include that on every single page of your Create This Book. So this page is kind of a big deal. And I don't know if you can figure out what my rule is going to be based off of what I am sketching out here. I will say that my rule is a little bit more abstract and intuitive. It's more something about how your emotions are or how you're feeling. And I think that something about art that's really cool is that it can evoke some kind of feeling or emotion. So basically, my rule is that whenever I make a page in Create This Book, I have to incorporate how I'm feeling that day. So then when I look back at all of the pages, it can kind of be like a diary, kind of like a artistic diary. So I'm going to be incorporating my feelings, basically, my feelings into every single page of Create This Book. And I'm also going to be putting my Bella signature on every page as well. So that's the final look for this rule page. Yay! Moving on to page number 3, we are creating a wall with graffiti on it. So this page, I'm not gonna lie, this is not my favorite page, but I have 2 more pages after this that are like my absolute favorite. I don't know, somehow my favorites came out last. I was feeling tired that night. It was late after work, and that was the only thing I could feel. So I thought, let me incorporate that into my graffiti. I'm going to just say I'm tired and be done with it. I also said in my rule box that I was going to incorporate my Bella signature with the shooting star, and I proved how tired I was here because I somehow colored in that E with the purple right there. What am I doing? And I didn't even realize until now when I was editing. Oh, was I tired, all right. The proof was in the pudding, as my dad likes to say sometimes. Moving on from this. I didn't like this one that much. So this one is my absolute favorite. It is the Create an Unusual Superpower. I did use a reference image for this, so I'm going to link it below so I can give credit to the original artist, but basically, I'm incorporating my feelings again because it's the rule. I'm a computer scientist. I don't know if you guys know that. So I work full-time as a computer scientist. And some days you have more productive days than others. And basically the superpower on this person, girl, whatever, is she's like a technological girl. You know, she has a technology superpower or whatever. And she's having a productive day. Because that was my feelings. I guess I had a productive day and I was feeling really motivated and like I was getting a lot of stuff done and that I was smart and stuff like that. So that is the feeling that I wanted to portray in this Create This Book page, I guess. Added some highlights to the lips and noticed that the forehead was quite, well, it was too big. It looked like she just had like a huge forehead, so I decided to add a little bit more stuff to the top of the forehead to make it not look quite so big. And once that was done, I got out my glue stick, put it into the book, Mod Podged it down, and man, this was my favorite. Look at our superhero. She's just a techno gal taking on technology. Okay, so we're moving on to a music-inspired page. So this one is probably my second favorite that I did. I really liked this one. So as per our rule, we have to portray how we're feeling that day. So I was feeling kind of overwhelmed and a little nostalgic. I guess kind of like a bittersweet, sad, nostalgic kind of vibe. And also, I really love Taylor Swift's album Folklore, and that album is very sad and very nostalgic, and it has like some like bittersweet moments to it. And I just really love the album. I love Taylor Swift. And I felt like the scene from her music video in Cardigan with the piano when she's like in the ocean and holding onto her piano was, I don't know, it feels overwhelmed to me. It's overwhelming to be in a big ocean, only holding onto a piano. I understand that she's like clinging to her music and stuff like that, but basically I just felt like it portrayed how I was feeling really well, and I thought it was a really beautiful scene in the music video. So that is why I chose to paint this for this page of the book. Okay, we're entering my favorite part. The highlights really brought this one together, and I felt like it just like, I don't know, it really emphasized, I don't know, it just made it look, I don't know if it made it look sadder or if it made it look more nostalgic or more dramatic. I really liked it. It made it look maybe more more like fantasy-like, I guess. I don't know, but I'm drawing the folklore symbol there and like adding some outlines. I like it. It looks like kind of like a sketch, I guess. I guess that's what I was trying to say. I don't know why I was saying it so weirdly. But basically, I'm gluing this down now and putting it in the book, and I just really like this one. I don't know if it's because I really like Taylor Swift or I really like the style that I made it in, but I just really like this page. Yeah, okay, that's the final look. Create an unusual combo. So my rule is to include my feelings that day. I was feeling a little frustrated with the need to document things all the time. Like, everyone's always like trying to like take pictures of everything, and me being a YouTuber, I feel like that's a little bit hypocritical because I'm constantly taking videos and pictures of things. But yeah, like the need to constantly document things is what was upsetting me. I don't like that. And I remembered there's a new Taylor Swift song called The Lakes. She has a lyric that says, "A red rose grew up out of ice-frozen ground with no one around to tweet it." And it's kind of relates to that saying, like, if a tree falls in the forest and no one is around to hear it, does it even make a noise? It's kind of the same thing. Like, if a red rose grew up out of ice-frozen ground and no one was around to post it on social media, did it even happen? No. So that's kind of, that was where I was going with this. All right, let's color. Okay, wait, you gotta look at this. I did not like the way the snow was coming out whatsoever. I just thought it looked really bad, the snow and like the mountains. I didn't really like them. But then I added these little icicles on the leaves of the rose, and it just made me so much happier. The background still looks like trash, but at least I have those icicles, you know? I did choose to put the lyrics in because I felt like it represented what I was feeling a little bit better, to just explain it more, and I don't know, I just liked it. So this is the final thing, and we're gonna move on to create simplistic drawings using stick figures. Now, my emotions for this one are a little bit harder to describe, so I'm just gonna walk you through this. That may or may not have been a stick figure joke. I will never reveal the answer to that. Anyway, back to my emotions. So my friend signed up for an online dating website to find someone to date, presumably. I have been dating someone, the same person, for 3.5 years. He's the best, William, Squilliam, as I like to say. He's the best, but I was thinking back on the process of dating and trying to find, like, someone that you like. It's just literally, like, it's the worst thing that you could ever possibly have to do in your whole life. It's just, there's so many people, you know? There's so many people out there. They're all slightly different, but also slightly the same. And then some of them are weirdos. And it's just, it's the worst. It's the worst thing you'll ever have to do. That's what I like to say. Quote me. Dating. It's the worst thing you'll ever have to do. And I was just feeling, I guess the word is grateful, very grateful that I have found my diamond in the rough. You see, there's all these diamonds. This page may not make sense to you. It may not make any sense, but these are my emotions, so if this doesn't make any sense to you, I hope you at least like the colors and the patterns. Those were my feelings. Feelings are hard to describe sometimes. Oh, I'm also adding the date to all of these pages now because I realized if it's like a diary entry, I'd like the date to be there. Oh my god, okay, I love this one, and not even because I like the drawing, because the drawing was, like, okay, but the adventure. I went on an actual adventure, so, like, a week ago, I went on a date with Will, and we went paddleboarding. I don't know if you guys have went paddleboarding before, but I saw Taylor Swift and Ed Sheeran go paddleboarding in, like, 2012 or 2013, and ever since I saw her do that, I was just dead set on going paddleboarding. I gotta do this. I live by a river, and they have paddleboarding there. And this is what it looked like. It was so pretty. What is that? Is that a duck? I'm going right towards it. Oh my god. Oh, it's a... Yeah, it flew away. I don't know what it was. There's something about birds. They just love to dart at me. I don't know why. No matter what it is, it can be a duck, it can be like a seagull, it can be a pigeon. They love to just fly right at me, and I don't know why. So this, anyway, I probably should explain what paddleboarding is. I feel like you can visually kind of see, but it's basically a big board. Picture like a surfboard type of thing that you stand on.
What?
Okay, so some of you might be thinking, why wouldn't I just go kayaking? Why wouldn't I go canoeing? Isn't that the same thing? Isn't it easier to be sitting? And my question for you would be, can you think of a time when you were in the center of a body of water and you were above it?
No.
You know, it's you're not like in it. When you're in a kayak or a canoe, you're in the water, basically. You're so low to the ground that you really don't realize how little you can see. But when you're standing on a paddleboard, it's like you're walking on water, you know? Like, if you want to know what it's like to walk on water, try a paddleboard. Try renting a paddleboard and standing on it. It is the most unbelievable thing, and I feel like I'm being really dramatic about this, but it was the most beautiful thing ever.
Beautiful.
So beautiful. It's the best experience ever. Highly recommend. 10 out of 10 rating. So yeah, I tried to explain it and I realized I didn't even say the feeling that I was experiencing. So the feeling is adventurous. I was feeling very calm and peaceful while I was on the water. Very excited after the fact and also during. And also just the feeling of being in nature, you know? That's a feeling. And that's the whole thing.
Cut.
And as a side note, I just want to point out these feet, the toes, feet are really hard to draw, realistically. Like, it's really hard to draw a good shape of feet and legs. I had no idea, but I tried really hard to draw these feet, and I don't know how they came out. It took me a really long time, and colored pencils are difficult with that. And here is the grand reveal. We put some Mod Podge on it, and voila. Moving on to the next page, we have folds. This page went a little bit awry. This one was a wreck.
It's just a wreck.
But that's okay. We always have to mess up at least one thing. So I decided to take all of my scrap paper and kind of like cut it out into different strips, and then I colored that one a little bit weirdly. I was just making everything really messy, and I put some polka dots on this page and then also cut it out into strips and cut it out into swirls and everything. And my basic idea here was I was feeling like, I don't even know how to describe it. I was feeling maybe stressed and confused and just needed to just glue and color things messily. I guess it's disorganization is how I was feeling, you know? I was disorganized. And I thought that this would work out for folds because I was like, oh, let me just take all these pieces of paper and squish them together and fold them in all weird ways and glue them down and then mush it in. But by the time I finished it, it started to look, and here, I'm like mushing it together because I thought, oh, wow, that's all folded weird now. Really hitting that, okay. And then I Mod Podged it down and everything. And when I Mod Podged it, it looked a little bumpy. And I remembered we have this create a refusal and a bumpy page. So I thought, let me take my refusal and my bumpy page. I thought, let me cut the bumpy thing out, decorate it, stick that on there, and just make that the bumpy page. And then I thought, what if I take the refusal and refuse to do the bumpy page on that page and then make up my own rule? And get this, the rule was create folds yet again. So this is create folds take 2. And for this one, I decided to make Scottish folds. Get it? Like Scottish fold. I feel like getting a kitten. That's my feeling. I want a cat. I really do want one. I don't know when I'll get one, and I don't know how long it will take, but I really know that I want a Scottish fold really badly. 1, 2, 3, I don't know. They're just so cute, and they sit cute. Look, that's how they sit, and they lay down weird, and I just love this page. I think this is my favorite page because I love Scottish folds so much. I think they're so cute. Oh, adorable. Look at this.
They're so cute.
And I don't know if I'm using this refusal thing wrong, but I figured let me just put the refusal thing on the page where it was supposed to be bumpy. I'm refusing to make a bumpy page and I'm making folds. Really, I just swapped the bumpy page and the fold page, so maybe I did this wrong. I don't know. I feel like there's no rules to create this book, so it's whatever I want, and this is what I wanted to do. And this is the final thing. I think it looks super cute. I love these cats. Alright, starting off the first page, I did create an outfit, and since it's fall, I guess we can all guess that I'm doing a fall outfit. I did do a sketch of this, but the sketch was so light, it's not really worth showing you. There is a girl who is presumably me, wearing a fall outfit. She's wearing a hat, she's wearing a scarf. The scarf actually ended up being an issue for me. I did yellow stripes and then I just didn't like it in person, so then I colored over it with green and that looked awful. So then I darkened it and it just ended up being like a mess. I think it looked fine at the end, but it's not really my favorite thing about this drawing, so everyone just ignore the scarf. My create this book rule is to incorporate my feelings in some way, and I've interpreted this over time as to just be like, draw something about my day or how I'm feeling that day and kind of just like draw something, like a journal basically. If you follow me on Instagram, you know that I love fall, but I was reluctant to, I said that weird, reluctant, I don't know how to say it. I was reluctant to accept the season change. I love summer too, and it's just, it felt like fall came too quickly. Did anyone feel like that? It was like, all of a sudden it was fall, and I was like, what? I barely went outside. But I do love fall. I love fall outfits. I love leaves. I love the autumn colors, everything about it, the pumpkins, you know. I'm a big fall proponent, and this is me embracing it. That's my feelings for this pitch. Are the leaves embracing me, or am I embracing the leaves? It's hard to tell. I added some nice signature and a date, and then I Mod Podged it, but yeah, it was blue for some reason. I don't know how that happened, to be honest, but here is the final product. Okay, moving on, we are creating a nature page. So for this, I'm just going with the same exact feeling. I love fall, that's what we're going with, because I did these on the same day, so I was just fully embracing my fall attitude. So for this one, I am doing pumpkins. I'm doing stacks of pumpkins in the sky for some reason. Oh, okay, here's something interesting. So while I'm doing Create This Book, I thought I would take this opportunity to focus on my colored pencil skills. And I don't really know how to use colored pencils that well. I mean, like, other than just, like, using them to color. I don't know what I'm doing. I want to know how to, like, do the shading correctly. And that's what I was focusing on in this drawing. And I was really proud of this one pumpkin in particular. The other ones didn't look great, but she's a star right there in the middle. That looks like a pumpkin, you know? Shine bright, shine far, be a star. That's my good friend Tyra Banks. She said that.
What?
It's a movie. Okay, I'm gonna just play some music because I feel like if I just keep saying pumpkin, 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 I'm drawing pumpkins. That's basically all I'm doing here, so you're just gonna get bored. The song I'm about to play is called End of Summer, and it truly sounds like we're on the precipice of autumn. Like, listen to this and tell me it doesn't feel like the seasons are changing, okay? I'm gonna play this for you. Wow, oh my gosh, that just gave me flashbacks to when I was in college and I was a DJ for the radio station. I used to like introduce music, and I feel like I just introduced the music like a radio host again. So, wow, TBT. Okay, hope you like that one. Oh, okay, so I'm coloring with my foot here. Because it's the challenge where you can't use your hands, and I did it quickly because I realized some people hate feet. I don't like that sky. I messed that up. We're coloring that in. I realize, before everyone gets angry, I realize I'm using my hands, but I did draw with my feet the initial thing, like the main thing, and I'm going over it with a Sharpie, so we're emphasizing it. And the whole picture is based on the foot drawing, and so yeah. So I did kind of cheat a little, but I feel like I fit within the rules, basically. I drew something with my feet, so yeah. So the rule, my feelings. This fits with my feelings because my sister, Alina, and I, Alina and I,
No.
we started running again. So I used to run cross country in high school, and we recently started a 5K program. If you don't know what that is, it's like around 3.2 miles, I think, or 3.1 miles. It's around 3 miles you run. I used to run those in high school all the time, and there's an app called C25K. So we're following that app, and this picture is depicting my process in running. I'm only like a week in, so I'm currently on the left. I look like I'm struggling over there. But on the right, I will soon be on the right. So it's the journey, it's the challenge. So that's why I'm literally creating a challenge on this page. In addition to drawing with my feet, I'm drawing my running challenge that I've given to myself for no reason other than I just wanted to try to run a 5K again.
Never doing this again. I can tell you that.
So on the right is me cheering and jumping for joy after I have successfully ran a 5K sometime in the future. So this is just the 5K. I'm writing 5K because I thought that would explain more about the feelings for this page, and I thought it might make it a little more interesting. I didn't really like the dark sky too much. I thought it was just like too dark. I was trying to make it look like a challenging sky. I don't know. So yeah, this is it. I like this one. When I Mod Podged it, the blue went like everywhere, streaky. So that's something to note. Prismacolors, then they're blue with Mod Podge, it spreads. And I put the date, put my signature, voila, that's it. I'm doing create nonsensical creatures. So this one actually has a good explanation. When I was little, and also when my brother Matt was little, I remember he would draw these characters, and I think I got them from him. So honestly, I think he made these up. But I used to draw these when I was in like 3rd grade on like all my notebooks and stuff. And I was just, like, thinking about that. I don't know, as soon as I saw create nonsensical creatures, that was, like, the first thing that I thought of immediately. So I guess that's, like, kind of like a nostalgia feeling. I don't know. It just, looking at these characters really brings me back to my childhood, honestly. I, like, drew these everywhere, and so did my brother Matt. So what are these things? They are quite nonsensical, I think most would agree. They do have something, though, in common. They have little plants sticking out of their heads. One has 2 flowers, I guess they're pigtails. Another one has, like, leaves or, like, some kind of plant thing. Another one has grass. And then the other ones, I don't know what's on the top of that blue one's head. They're just, like, little ball. I guess they're clouds. They're little blue balls, clouds, sticking off of those ones' heads. I don't know. I guess they all have different personalities and, like, themes that go with them and places that they reside. So, there's one in the grass, there's one riding a skateboard down a rainbow, there's one pretending to be a plant, and then there's somehow roots going through, and then it's hanging some stars, and then there's one in the clouds. And yes, this image is very nonsensical, but that is the purpose of this page, you know? They said to create some nonsensical creatures. I oblige, you know? This is nonsense. None of this makes any sense. It's almost nonsensical. Okay, last page is create a border. For this one, my feelings... Okay, so this is how I was feeling. I was feeling like I didn't feel like thinking of more feelings. I was like looking through the book, and I was like, I cannot think of another feeling right now. I don't have any more feelings. And that, I realized, was a feeling. So the feeling on this page is I just didn't feel like thinking. That was what I was thinking. I was just like, I don't feel like it. So I chose create a border because you can really just do random stuff. Thinking. Who needs to think? We don't need to think. We can just draw random shapes and patterns around and around in a border and then call it a day, you know? This is just purely whatever came to mind as I was doing it. You know, I wasn't like really thinking about this at all. Every single time I added a new addition to the border, I just put my pencil down and drew the first thing that came to my mind. I'm not even sure if anything came to my mind, you know, I just kind of like moved my pencil in the direction my brain was like telling. I don't know what I'm saying anymore. I actually kind of hate the way this page came out, to be completely honest. I don't know. Do you guys like it or not? Not sure. Create letters. Use them for aesthetic value rather than whiting words. So for this one, I was thinking letters. I can do the alphabet, or who receives letters? Who sends letters? And what season is it? Santa. Santa gets letters when we send him letters for the Christmas list. Erasing off my pencil marks, and then I'm bringing out my gouache paints using these
magical paints.
I don't know why I just said magical. That makes it sound like it's mystical or something. These are just regular paints. So like I said, these are gouache paints, which means they're like half acrylic, half watercolor, and they reactivate with water. So I could not use any Mod Podge over the pages. The inability to seal in my pages is kind of a downside, but I did really enjoy using these paints with the colored pencils. There they are. And there's Santa.
Santa?
Someone in the comments told me to get a colored pencil blender, and I did that, and wow, that's a life changer. Thank you for letting me know. I truly had no idea that was even an option. And man, this has really upped my game significantly. I said that word, significantly? Significantly? I feel like I emphasized it so weird. Okay. Anyway, so you watched me crumble a piece of paper, and I'm sure you're wondering why. Before I answer your question, I'm going to quickly write Christmas list on the top of this letter and write a bunch of scribbles, because I didn't feel like coming up with a real list. The paper is wrinkled because a child wrote it, presumably. I'm kidding. It's just because I thought it would look like an aesthetic value to it if it's wrinkled, and I'm gluing that down inside an envelope to make it look like it's a letter to Santa. The next thing I did was go into my stationery box and pick out some pieces of paper. Okay, so I cut out a piece of paper. I'm realizing how many things I did here. So I cut out a piece of paper, glued it there. I also got some washi tape and put it in several places on the page. And then I also wrote this little thing to make it look like a stamp. And then I also wrote nice right there in like some nice lettering.
What?
I also wrote Dear Santa right there because this is a letter to Santa. And then for this bottom part, I decided to add stamps. And oh my gosh, I forgot to tell you guys about the rule. The rule. I don't know why I just said it like that. The rule. Why I am really struggling right now. Rules! Okay, for the rule for this week is... I can't even say it. I can do this. My rule for Create This Book is to incorporate my feelings into every single page, and this week I was feeling festive. I was listening to music, the Christmas kind. I've been watching a lot of Hallmark movies this week, actually, and last week, and the week before that, because they have like the 25 days of Hallmark movies. Let me tell you, if you like rom-coms, Hallmark is the place for you. 10 out of 10. Hit worthy every single time. You really rarely get a miss. Last night I was watching one about office rivals. I don't know what it is. It's like every single time they have a rival, I'm in. I'm like totally, I'm in. My seatbelt is buckled. We're going up, you know? Anyway, so I made this naughty nice list. Took a long time to figure out where to put it. Put it right there. And then the last thing I thought was missing from this was we have Santa Claus, and we of course need Mrs. Claus. It was missing her, you know. And here's the final result for the letters page. I am much happier with the colored pencils than I normally am because of the way I was able to blend the colors. So I do like this page a lot, actually. Moving on to the second page that I did, we're gonna find it. It's Create Obscure Shapes. Now, before you judge, I haven't cleaned out my closet since 2008, so I chose to clean out my closet. My closet is empty right now, but my room is a mess. It's destroyed, but it had to be done. I had to clean out my closet, and as a result, my clothes are all over the ground. Things have to get worse before they get better. Yeah, at least that's what I keep telling myself. The reality of the situation is my closet has exploded on me with random obscure shapes. So that is what I am representing here, metaphorically, symbolically, on my Create This Book page. I did choose to use the gouache paints again to color everything in initially, and then I went back in with colored pencils and did the highlighting, or the shadows, shading, that's what it's called. I'm an artist, guys, I know what I'm talking about. I also went back with a Sharpie and outlined everything in black and then gave it like a drop shadow to the right side of it so it looked like it was popping out a little bit. And I also went back and added some highlights. I know what they are. And here comes the controversial decision. I decided to paint the background orange, and that was a strong debate because I thought it looked great white. But then I also decided to only keep one page orange because, I don't know, I was just feeling it. I thought it looked nice, and I don't know, you might hate that decision, let me know. You know what, guys? I think I do like it. Okay, moving on to the next page. Oh, I love this one so much. Where is it? Come on, find it. It always takes me so long. Create a collage. So for this one, yes, we brought in our Instamax Mini. So I was feeling artsy for this one. So I have this Instamax Mini. Ooh, you can take a picture here. And I took a bunch of Polaroid pictures, which I feel like is pretty, like, artsy, hipster-y. But, you know what, Polaroid cameras are not really that hipster-y anymore because everyone uses them, but it doesn't matter. Either way, I was feeling artsy, and I was feeling like using my Polaroid camera. So I decided to make a collage with the Polaroid camera pictures, and I also decided to draw the Polaroid camera. And I also had hands right there. I gotta stop saying also. But yeah, I really like the way the hands came out. I mean, for my own skill level, and I only did that in like 20 minutes, I feel like they look like pretty realistic relative to what I'm able to do.
Pretty good.
I then put in my initial coats of paint. I did pink for this Polaroid, and then I was trying to do blue for that other Polaroid, and somehow it came out like this weird green color, and it just looks like puke green, and there was nothing I could do to fix it. The more colored pencils I put on it, the more pukey it looked, and I don't know what else to do with that.
I tried.
I also blended out the color pencils with the pink Polaroid and did the hands. And I thought this one turned out pretty good. I kind of liked it. Onto the collaging part of this page. So I took these scrapbook papers that I have from my scrapbooking collection, put them on, and I wanted this to look like a picnic feel, and I'll tell you why. So Will and I went on a hiking/beach trip by my house. There's like a hiking trail, and at the end of it, there's a beach. And we also had a picnic there. And that kind of goes along with the feeling for artsy because I took the Polaroid camera there and took pictures of us, and it was a lot of fun. So that is the whole experience/feeling that goes along with this Create This Book page. And this is the final thing. I love this page. I think it's actually my favorite one I've done so far. Moving on to the fourth page, the fabric page. Create a fabric page. Attach pieces of fabric. So this is perfect for me. I have tons of fabric. I used to take sewing lessons in 5th and 6th grade, and I just have had these fabrics since I was like young. I just have a lot of fabric. I like to sew as well. So I cut them up into squares, as you can see right there, and then I just decided how to organize them on the page. I'll be honest with you guys, this is probably my least favorite page I've done so far. I was really focusing on the colors of each of the fabrics and trying to line them up with where the colors went. Notice on the top left, the yellow piece of fabric has a little bit of red, and then there's a red one next to it. Notice on the right side, we have one piece of fabric that is tying everything together that has pink, purple, orange, and blue. So that is how I was coming at it from the perspective of colors being near each other. I don't know. I hope that made literally any sense to you. The feeling that I had was I was very busy at work this week, so I was trying to get a busy feeling to come across with this page. I had a lot of busy patterns all mashed together, and that is what I tried to do. I think I achieved it. I don't think I actually like it. Will said he liked it, but I don't know if I believe him, honestly. Okay, we're gonna move on to the next one. And that one is create an applied suggestion. For this one, I took to Instagram, and one came out on top. An apple giraffe. That was the first one that was submitted. So, as requested, I started on the apple giraffe. Thank you so much for the suggestion. For this one, I was feeling grateful, so I thought, why not include everyone and try to come up with a suggestion together? And this was also something that a subscriber named Angelica asked me to do last week. So I thought, let me do this page as a thank you to all of you guys for subscribing. I know I got a lot of subscribers this week for Create This Book, and I'm really grateful and happy that you guys are here. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Big Blue House. I don't know why that was what came to mind when I was trying to say welcome to you. That's called brainwashing as a child. I think I watched the Big Blue House a lot. The other thing that goes along with apples is New York City. The Big Apple. Get it? So then I wrote apple giraffe like a kindergartner. That literally looks like a kindergartner wrote it. And then I cut out some apples, and we're gonna give you fair warning. Tragedy strucketh us to the extreme this time. Extreme tragedy. It's much worse than you think. So I should have just left it here. but I didn't. I did not leave it here. I went to my gouache paints when this was already glued in, and it just got worse and worse and worse. That looks horrible. I'm upset. No, we're not doing this. No, we're not doing any of this. How do I fix this? Let me see if I can pull it out. Oh, it ripped. Okay. So then I tried to like cut it out, and I ended up cutting through to the other page and ruining 2 pages because everything was wet. Do not rip. Okay. So I made the executive decision to just cut everything out that I had done so I could save my work at least, and then I put a new piece of paper in, and then I did opt to get rid of the create a page for a pet because we do have another page that says something about a pet, so I thought, you know what, let's get rid of it. This cute little giraffe can be my pet and I can save the page. Otherwise I just have like a page that's ripped through in half and I just didn't know how to fix it. So yeah, this is the final thing. It was a little bit of a struggle, but I actually really like it. I think the apple giraffe is super cute. Create your favorite. Make this page your favorite. So for this I have a map, instructions, a sketch, if you will, of what I will be creating. Take it in, inhale, and release. I took out my wonderful gouache paints, perhaps a bit too early. I seriously make a mistake anytime I attempt to do anything. I started painting and then realized, wait, I'm missing something. I'm missing the outline. What? The penguin is a mess. I'm a mess. We are one. I am penguin. Penguin is me. You hear what I'm saying, guys? I will now introduce you to all of the party guests. Who are they? What are they doing? The cool cat enjoys making rude comments about everyone. Where's the catnip? Ugh! This friendly golden retriever is just hosting the party. He's happy to be there. Gosh, I love my friends. The lovebirds just sit in the corner and talk to each other. Tweet, 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 tweet. I love you. Our penguin friend is a bit of a mess. He's having a good time, maybe a little bit too much of a good time, but we all love him. He's very friendly, he's always kind, and he's sitting in a pool of Mountain Dew, so what more could we want from him, you know? Huh. The penguin spilt his drink on the squirrel, and now the squirrel is a little bit angry. And then the turtle's just chillin'. He's just embracing the confetti. Meep. Aww. And I guess I should now tell you the feeling that goes along with this. If you guys have seen my other Create This Book videos, you know that my rule is related to my feelings. So for this page, first of all, my favorite holiday is New Year's Eve, so I was very happy about that, feeling celebratory, but also open to new possibilities, you know? There's a whole world of people to meet and things to do, you know?
I mean, yeah, I guess.
Here are my colored pencils of choice, and we are going to do some shading on the whole painting. If you follow me on Instagram, you may have actually already seen this page, and that is because I did an Instagram collab with some other Instagrammers who post about Create This Book. It was a fun collab, and you can check it out on my Instagram. It's _Bellamena. To add the finishing touches on this piece, I took my Posca paint pen and added some white highlights to different places. I added some highlights in the eyes, and I also added some highlights to the drink. I signed my name and then added the date, and this is what the final thing turned out looking like. I actually really love this page. I think it's one of my favorite pages that I've done so far. I know they say that all the time, but this one, it feels different, guys. I like it a lot. Create an upside down page. Write or draw something on this page while the book is upside down. I've been really enjoying cutting a window to the prompt out and then working on the page. For this page, I decided to go with evergreen winter trees, and to make this upside down, I actually folded the page in half and used my marker that bleeds through. So then when I open the page up and flip it over to the other side, I have little dots that I can kind of use as a sort of connect the dots to create the same exact image again. Ah. Erasing off those pencil lines, and we have Cali Art markers. What? So I purchased these online, and they're a pack of 100 markers. There's so many. They're actually alcohol markers. I've never had alcohol markers before, so I will let you know how I like them. And now I have to clean that up. So like I said, this collab is a winter theme, and everyone thinks of something different when they think of winter. For me, I think of snow and ice skating and white and blue and just being very cold.
So cold, so cold.
I really wanted to do something different for this. I was using my markers and I thought, do you want to use all the colors? Yes. So let's do it. Let's use all the colors. Don't let the winter theme stop you. I have only ever used Crayola markers and those are good, but they don't blend very well at all. And I just had no idea that markers were even able to blend. Is that dumb? I think that might be dumb. Nope. So I have had a very positive experience with these Cali art markers. They were only around $20 or $30 and I love them. Anyway, so the feeling that went along with this was actually just feeling collaborative. I did my first collab ever. And I also felt like trying some new stuff, which is why I tried the markers. I really love the way that I fulfilled the upside down part of the prompt. I like that you can look at the picture and flip it upside down and it looks the same, like the trees are reflecting in the lake. I added my signature and the date. I did a quick outline of the window to the prompt, and this is what the final thing turned out looking like. I absolutely love this page. I really do. This is like one of my faves. Again, I've said it again, but I really like this one too. Up next, we have the Create a Pair of Twins page. Yep, okay, here they are. So for this page, I actually put a poll up on my YouTube and I asked you guys which one you would prefer me to do. You guys chose create your own original characters. And this is what I'm doing. I'm creating some original characters. On the left, we have Peaches, and on the right, we have Cream. Peaches and Cream, they go together. They're like a pair, the perfect pair, you might actually say. Now I know what you're thinking. Wait a minute. Does that mean you posted the perfect pair, thinking that we would choose original characters and knowing you already had Peaches and Cream created and they could fit for both categories depending on which one we chose? No, actually, that's not what happened. I actually was trying to create an original character for you guys. I'd like to now bring your attention to the right, to our good friend Cream. She is the girl in this relationship, and she sadly looks like garbage. Peaches over there looks nice and handsome and cute and delicious. And then we have Cream. Oh my god, what the? Cream looks like she hasn't showered for 10 days and smells like absolute trash. Garbage. It looks like Peaches and garbage. I'll bring your attention now to the whipped cream that's on the top of her head. Get away from me. I'm so scared. I don't even know what this is. She looks like she should have flies around her. I am so sorry. I don't know how this happened. I tried to make it blue and it just, the whole thing is a mess. I hate it. Anyway, I gave Peaches and Cream a rug and I also gave them a heart because they're in love. Although they're twins, so that doesn't really make sense. Huh. Maybe they're just like twins, you know? They're just like, they get along very well. That's what it is. Okay, good. I made Peach's eyes the color of cream. I also added some little twinkles in his eyes, and then I actually gave a nice blue background color, and I think this did actually dramatically improve the piece. I still kind of hate it, but it's fine. It's just, I don't like that cream doesn't look appetizing, you know? That's the only thing. I put my signature, and I also put the date in the top right corner. I outlined the window to the prompt, and this is the final thing. Let me know what you guys think. I'm not too sure about this one, like I said. I'm just not really happy that cream doesn't look appetizing. I don't know. Okay, up next we have create an assessment. Dedicate this page to an everyday task. Write about whether you like or dislike it. This is a wheel.
Cool.
So I decided to make this look like a color wheel, so I used all the colors of the rainbow and really focused on blending them together. My footage actually cut out, but this is what it looks like at the end. I then added these words. So this is actually going to be something called a feeling wheel or a feelings wheel, and basically it helps you figure out what your feelings are. The reason I decided to put this wheel in the create an assessment page is because my rule is to incorporate my feelings into every create this book page. And if you're like me, you actually have trouble coming up with a word to describe your feelings. And this helps with that. So to use this, you start with the innermost circle and you pick a basic feeling that you're feeling. And you can just stop there and say, I'm feeling happy. But if you want a more descriptive word, you can look towards the outer rings and get more and more descriptive words that fit within that category. This wheel will actually be really useful for me going forward when I'm trying to assess my feelings for each page of Create This Book. I called this the feelings wheel, and I just had so many options, I really did. I could have done the wheel of feels, the feels wheel, I mean, so many better things, but that's okay. I've been using this wheel on my own to come up with descriptions for how I'm feeling for a while now, so I figured it would be cool to put it into my Create This Book, and I'm going to link down below the wheel that I used. And this is the final look for the feelings wheel. If you ever need a feeling, look at the wheel. Create a page of stripes. draw stripes on this page. So for this page, I decided to draw stripes, but there's a twist, guys. There's always a twist. Yes, I'm very well aware I could have just drawn horizontal or vertical or diagonal stripes across the whole page and been done with it. But you know what that would have been? Boring. It would have been boring. So what I did instead was I went into my alcohol markers, I picked out 3 colors that I enjoy, pink, yellow, and blue, and I set out to create an optical illusion. So you might be asking yourself,
What's an optical illusion? What do you mean?
let me explain. An optical illusion is occurring when your visual perception is different than what is actually drawn on the page. So for example, in this image, the lines look like they are slanted, but they're not. They're straight. Like if you took a ruler up to this is a perfectly straight line. I know, it's shocking, right? For my optical illusion, I decided to make the straight lines look like they're all layered on top of each other. And at the end, when you look at all of the layers, you don't know which layer is on top and which layer is on bottom. Oh baby, this is not an illusion. You're not an illusion to me. One Direction said that. Except in this case, it's not true. This is objectively an illusion. If you've seen my other Create This Book videos, you might know that my rule is to incorporate my feelings into every single page of Create This Book. It's quite dramatic. Basically, I have to incorporate how I'm feeling into my art, so when you look at it, you go, ah yes, that looks like that feeling. And for this page, I was actually, believe it or not, feeling disorganized, like I had too many things to do and was being pulled in all different directions, hence the stripes going in all different directions. I was confused about which thing on my to-do list I had to do first, hence the layers to all of these triangles. Which one is first? We don't know. Get it, guys? I feel like sometimes these pages don't make a whole lot of sense, but this one definitely makes sense, guys. Guys? Hello? Up next, we've got create color combinations. Play around with different color combinations, group colors to see how they look together. Since this is a Valentine's Day theme, I decided to use Val. Valentina is a pet hamster I created last week in my Squishy Makeover video, so if you haven't seen that, check it out. She did have a lot of balance issues before her makeover, but I think post-makeover she's feeling a lot more confident and she can now stand upright slightly. Most of the time. I drew Valentina, all over the page, and the idea here is to just color her with different colors than she was originally created with. So Val's original colors were light pink, light purple, and like this dark neon-y kind of purple. Alright, Val number 1, we have a peach color, which is different than her original light pink color. It's similar, I'll give you that, but we're branching out slowly. Her bow, her eyes, and her nose are dark purple. Yes, the nose is too big. I made a mistake. I also added light purple hearts, put some glimmers in the eyes, and this is not my favorite Val. I don't like that. It's just not her best look. Alright, next combo. I used a bright blue, a darker blue, and a purpley blue. Did I say blue yet? Yes. I did include some green hearts, okay? I kind of wish I made the eyes green, but mistakes are mistakes. Val number 3 is this weird lime green-ish yellow color. Someone give me a name for this color. It's yellow, but it's not. She's also got hot pink eyes and green hearts. I personally love this one. Up next, we've got, well, this one's only a quarter of Val. I chose to make it dark green and red. We're gonna move on to one of my favorites. I chose to make this one hot pink for the body, and wait for it, orange for the eyes and the bow. I filled in her pupils with black, gave Val some orange hearts, and filled her center heart in with this yellow color. And my favorite part, I added dark purple hearts. This version of Val might be my favorite so far. I do have another version of Val that I love just as much coming up. This one is a dark purple version of Val with yellow eyes and some white, black, and pink hearts. And you know what? I do like this one. It's different, and I don't think I'd ever paint a squishy this color, but it's interesting to look at, you know? Up next, we've got one of my other favorites. So I made this one have green eyes and a green bow and an orange body, like a bright orange body. I really like green and orange together. I feel like they look really cool, and I love the way this one turned out. I wish I had a full body version of it, not just the top of her head. I colored the background beige, and I just now realized that I never put glimmers in the orange one's eyes. I added the date and my signature because that's part of my rule. Oh my gosh, I forgot to mention how I was feeling when I made the page. Okay, so the feeling that goes along with this is there's so many versions of Val that I was feeling like collaborative with all different kinds of people, and I was also feeling creative, wanted to test out different colors. Does this page give you that feeling? I don't know. Let me know which one is your favorite though. I think I like the yellow, pink, and orange ones the best. I'm a very indecisive person, so it's difficult for me to choose just one. Up next, we're turning to a page that says, create a record of your week. Answer each of the following questions every day for a week. Okay, before anyone gets mad, let's just be honest here. I'm not following the directions completely.
What? I'm not following that.
I am interpreting them in my own way. And for me, a record that I actually hit this week was that I hit 4,000 subscribers, and I wanted to thank you guys in some way, so I kind of interpreted this page in the book a little bit differently, so don't sue me. But I did want to say thank you guys so much. You made my record of the week 4,000, and I love you for subscribing. I never thought I would actually get to 4,000. Well, I never thought I'd even get to 1,000, so 4,000 is just crazy for me. I know it's not that much to some people, but 4,000 is a lot, so thank you guys so much for subscribing. I'm sending you a virtual hug. Shoutouts are in the top right corner. It's becoming a bit too much for me to say them all so quickly, so these are the shoutouts. I'm adding some stars. There are blobs in the background. Each of you are represented as a blob or a star in the background, whichever you want to be. What? The way that I did my signature is honestly questionable. I don't know why I filled the B heart in, but this is what the whole thing ended up looking like. I don't know. Do you guys like this one? I kind of like it. I think it looks nice against the orange backdrop, at least. Up next, I'll bring your attention to the cover of my book. Remember what this looks like, because it's going to be ruined. I never completed the title page, so I thought, oh, let's do the title page. It'll be fun, they said. You'll notice I'm using my alcohol markers, which I know bleeds through the page, so I added a piece of computer paper and continued coloring. I chose pink, I chose orange, and I chose yellow. And I was coloring mindlessly, not even thinking about my front cover, because again, this is not even connected to my front cover, so why would my front cover be destroyed by coloring this? Anyway, so I'm making yellow, trying to get in all those little crevices around the elaborate create this book symbol, getting in there around the corner. Very, very detailed. Anyway, I was really excited about this cover page because it's basically like having a second chance at doing the cover, and I love the way my cover came out, but I really like this one as well because it's different colors and stuff. I did give a drop shadow to the create this book symbol, and I added some white gel pen to the mistakes that I made. I used my white gel pen to add white stars all over the background, as well as outline those stars in black. And I realized that this bleeds through the page, but I was okay with that because I'll figure that out another day. And now here comes the tragedy, when tragedy strucketh us. So I was looking at this white blank page and I said, you know what, let's extend it. Let's extend it and make it the whole thing. I didn't realize that alcohol markers could bleed through the cover of Create This Book. In hindsight, this is my bad. Completely my bad. I should have realized that. I don't know why I didn't. This is what the inside cover looks like, and I really like it. And this is what the destroyed cover looks like. I can't fix it, but you know what? That's okay. Over time, this book will get worn out anyway. Create a recorded conversation. Sit in a room with other people. Write down everything you hear.
Let's go!
Well, if no one else is gonna say it, I'm just gonna say it. I have been avoiding this prompt. I'm so sorry, Moriah. I keep picturing myself sitting awkwardly in the corner of a room, listening to what people are saying and writing it down, and I just feel like a complete weirdo. So instead of doing that, I decided, you know what? What's the next best thing? Let's come up with an imaginary conversation between your squishies. Oh wait, I already did that. Unprompted. Once I was done outlining my sketches, I erased everything, and now we're ready to bring out our paints. These are Himi gouache paints that I purchased on Amazon. I use them in my 100 Days of Art project, and I also sometimes use them in Create This Book, which is what I'm doing today. For those of you who are new here, this is Chip. He's a cookie dough ice cream mouse. Chip's name was actually chosen and voted for by you guys in the community tab, so thank you guys so much for coming up with the name Chip. It's excellent and I love it. And now let's talk about the storyline that's going on here. What conversation are we having? And what is Chip thinking? To sum it up quickly, Chip is freaking out. On a first glance, Chip looks like he's having a good time. He looks like he's smiling almost. But the more you start to look at his face, the more you start to realize just how much he's losing it. He's screaming. I don't know if Chip has ever spoken to a girl as beautiful as Cherie. Well, we put it to a vote and you guys voted for the name Cherry, but I am choosing to pronounce it as Cherie. I'm losing it, I swear. Anyway, Cherry is being, or Cherry, I don't know what to say now. The cat. The cat is being painted with a blue color. Notice she's the same blue color as Chip's stripe. Chip's stripe, Chip's stripe, Chip's stripe. Why is that so hard to pronounce? Now, the funniest thing about this for me is actually that Cherry has no cherries on her. Does she have strawberries? Sure. Does she have blueberries? Yes. Does she have raspberries on her? Yes. But does she have any cherries? No. 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 But I'm going to make the executive decision here, guys. We're going to change the strawberry sauce to cherry sauce so that everything makes sense and we can all have a good life. Up next, I have a very blurry shot of my Cali art markers. I chose this purple-y color. I wonder where I got the inspiration for the background from. I actually didn't have an alcohol marker that was as light as the background behind that I've been using. I usually don't color my background so dark, but I actually really enjoyed it for this scenario. Once the background was all colored in, I was ready to bring out my colored pencils to do some
shading.
Perfect. This is always the most enjoyable part of the video for me, at least the filming part of it. I always love doing the shading. I feel like everything comes together and things start to look like they have some depth and color to them. So back to our recorded conversation. We know that Chip is freaking out and very nervous to talk to Cherie. But Cherry, on the other hand, she's got this. She's a cool cucumber. She is playing it coy, she's given flirtatious hints here and there, subtle things.
You know, she'll
laugh at his joke a little bit too much, or maybe she'll curl her tail into a heart. She might whisper, "I love you, Chip." And she's just waiting for Chip to get the confidence to say something to her. Chip, please, calm down. She likes you. Jeez, get a grip, man. So as I did the shading for Chip, I kind of thought about what Chip might actually say to Cherry. And I started to realize that Chip is just too nervous. So what he's going to say is actually nothing. He's just gonna stand there awkwardly and think about what to say and never actually say anything. I filled in Cherry's face and eyebrows and realized it's not centered completely. This will annoy me for eternity. I added some highlights to Chip's nose, his tongue, his chocolate sauce and eyes, as well as Cherry's eyes and cherry sauce and berries. I added my signature and the date, as well as some awkward speech bubbles, and I also added sprinkles, of course. And this is the final thing. I hope you guys like the way this one turned out. I really like this one. I think Chip turned out really cute. I'm not sure if Cherry is super cute, but I really like Chip. So we're gonna move on to the next page, which is create a timed decoration. Use a timer to decorate this page in exactly 10 minutes. So I got everything out and ready to go. I took out a timer and set it to 10 minutes, and the stress began. If you guys follow my channel and watch my Create This Book series, you know that my rule is to incorporate my feelings into every single page of Create This Book. I just realized that I did not incorporate my feelings into the last page. Oops. It's actually kind of ironic that I felt so rushed that I forgot to include a feeling. Blowing the page away. Get back here. Let me explain. I was very short on time this week. I almost thought I wasn't going to be able to finish this video. Long story short, my computer at work broke, and I had to spend 2 or 3 days trying to fix it. I basically just felt very rushed. Just like I was rushed on this page. Get it? What happens when we're short on time? We forget things, like I forgot the feeling from page 1, and we feel rushed. The purple part had not dried and the white gel wouldn't stick to it, so I had to waste time drying it again. Anyway, as you can see, I'm using my white gel pen. I'm doing flowers, hearts,
and clocks.
get it because the theme is a timer, and I ran out of time. Let's see what we've got. So if I was following all the prompts in this book very exactly, I would have just glued what I had into my book and called it a day. But I don't follow all the prompts exactly because I like to do things the way I want to do them, and I wanted to finish this page up. Now, I did only spend 8 more minutes finishing up this page because I did want to stay kind of true to the original intent of the page where everything was rushed. I added the date, I added my signature, and this is what the final thing turned out looking like. It's not my best work, and I realized that because it only took me 18 minutes to do, but I do kind of like the way it turned out. Moving on to the next page, I did create a food page. Now for this page, when you think of feelings with food, I mean, you're just thinking of what you want to eat. So I don't know how to incorporate a feeling other than I
Wanted a cupcake.
So here's the thing, I have never drawn a cupcake with colored pencils. I don't consider myself someone that's even good at using colored pencils. I think I'm pretty bad at it, and that's kind of why I decided to do a cupcake with colored pencils, because I wanted to practice. Is that a feeling? That might be a feeling. Where's my feeling wheel when I need it? Anyway, I almost gave up. I erased and I almost gave up because I made so many mistakes, I erased half of it. It was just not looking good, guys. But I persevered because my channel isn't really about me being good at art, it's just about me doing art. What? I'm not good at everything, and sometimes I have a hard time with stuff. I went back over the chocolate cupcake and over the wrapper, which I did not like the wrapper. The wrapper I feel like turned out really bad. But that's okay, we can't all be winners. I moved to the chocolate sauce and made sure to reserve some space for the highlights, and then I filled in the chocolate sauce with various colors, various shades of brown. To finish up this cupcake, I did some strawberry icing and blended it out, and then I decided to draw another cherry, a larger cherry. Why not? We've got chip and cherry, we've got that cherry on top of the cupcake, and now we've got a giant cherry. You can see right here I was blending it out. That's when the colors got very dark. I think this turned out okay. Like I said, not an expert at using colored pencils. I added my signature, I added the date, and I did choose to put it in the book as is with a blank background. I know that's different than my usual style, but I do like this one, and I'm happy that I at least practiced with using colored pencils in this way. Create a person. Come up with a character, draw what they look like, and describe their personality. So for this one, I decided to draw a person. I think we got that. I really wanted her to look cute and fun and
Flirty and fashionable.
but I also wanted her to look.
Slightly mysterious.
Who is she? What is she doing? Does she have an ulterior motive, perhaps? Riveting stuff. I'm going to explain a little bit more about her personality after we start discussing her outfit. So she's wearing some trendy glasses, possibly sunglasses. She's also wearing trendy earrings, her hair is blowing in the wind, and the hair might actually be a wig. She also appears to have a lot of makeup on, maybe some fake eyelashes. She's wearing clothes that make it look like she's almost undercover. After I was done outlining my design and erasing it, I took out my Cali art markers that I purchased on Amazon, and I'm going to be using them to color our spy. Yes, she is a spy, I think. We may never know if she's actually a spy, but it is my firm belief that she is a real spy. So if you haven't seen my Create This Book videos before, my rule for this book is to include my feelings on every single page. So for this page in particular, I have a mix of two emotions, I think. One was on purpose and one was by accident. It's so confusing. The first emotion is just general excitement. Create a Person is the page that I've probably been looking forward to most in Create This Book. I have a couple of other favorites, but I really like the Create a Person page. One of my favorite kinds of art videos to watch on YouTube are actually original character designs, so this page was a very big priority for me. The secondary emotion kind of requires some explanation, so it was nostalgia. And the reason for that is because when I was little, I absolutely loved spies. I absolutely loved them. The Scholastic Book Fair, everyone knows what that is, but they had a subscription to Spy University, and I used to get these little spy books every month, and they'd send you spy equipment. And I also really liked reading different spy books. My favorite was the Gallagher Girls. I also loved watching the series Alias as I got older, so I just absolutely loved spies. And as I was drawing this, I was like, oh my gosh, she looks like a spy, guys. So I guess my feelings for this page are a mix of nostalgia and just excitement in general to do this prompt. So you might be asking yourself, why is a spy wearing such bright colors and eccentric clothing? And the answer to that is because sometimes spies get assignments that require eccentric clothing. Sometimes it makes them actually blend in more, depending on the setting. And it seems that this spy really needed some bright green contacts and a yellow wig. I also feel like that green diamond in the background makes her look more mysterious somehow. And this is what the final thing turned out looking like. I hope you guys like this one as much as I do. I actually have really enjoyed drawing people recently, so I think I might start doing that more if you guys like that. Create a colorless page. Decorate this page without using color. So of course, since we did a black and white theme, I had to do the create a colorless page. It was basically my only option, right guys? Black and white, black and white. So what are some things that are black and white? The dark. Whenever it's nighttime, things look black and white. So if you watched my Q&A video, you probably already know that I have a very strong,
but very healthy.
fear of the dark. No, seriously, I hate it. So the feeling associated with this page is going to be fear. And I will explain. So when I was younger, I attended a summer camp in the woods of New Hampshire, in like the mountains and woods of New Hampshire. So there was absolutely no light at night. And I had never experienced this before. So I'm like a little kid, I go into my log cabin and then they turn the light out. And it's absolutely pitch black, like extremely dark, extreme darkness, like absolutely no light. You don't know which way's up, you don't know which way's down. I felt like I was panicking, I felt like I couldn't breathe. I think I screamed, and then I had to have the flashlight on underneath my bed every single night of summer camp. I'll never forget it. I absolutely hate the dark, and I will fight anyone who disagrees with me. I hope you guys like this page though. It is really actually pretty terrifying. Up next, we have the create a page of polka dots. For this page, I decided to go with my gouache paints, and I ran out of white. So here we have this kind of white that I will use on the side instead. I don't know why I'm showing you. I was trying to think of something creative for polka dots, and honestly, I was
Pretty hungry at this point.
Donut.
So I went with donuts because they have dots or holes in the center. So I feel like that maybe could pass for the polka dot theme. Maybe. Is feeling hungry a feeling?
No.
I feel like that is a feeling, right? Yes. I'm so good at feelings. So here you can see I'm doing the shading for the donut first, and I'm kind of blending that together. I'm doing a pink donut here, and I'm adding some highlights and blending that all in. And then I moved on and made a darker purple donut. Made this mistake. A bit of an overreaction. I was able to fix that. And then I blended out the purple. I also added a chocolate donut because that's a classic donut color, as well as the highlights. Then I moved on to make a blueberry donut. I don't know if that's a common one, but maybe. I don't know if the purple one is actually a donut color either. I was just choosing random colors at this point. I added some highlights to this one as well and blended that out. I also made a vanilla donut, which I really like. My two favorite kinds of donuts are vanilla and strawberry. And then of course I added sprinkles. After the sprinkles were finished up, I gave this a light tan background, and my only regret for this is actually that I put sprinkles on every single donut rather than doing different variations of maybe icing or something like that. This is how the final page turned out looking in the book. It's definitely not perfect, but I actually think I like it. I really liked the process of coming up with the shading for these donuts, and I feel like I could do better if I tried again. Last but not least, we have the create a signature page. So for this page, I decided to add a completely new page just because I had that weird blue spot on the create a signature. I wanted it to be more than just signatures. So the first thing I started to do was sketch out a girl. You can see she has horrifying eyes and I changed them. So the feeling I wanted this page to portray was the feeling of being productive or the feeling of working diligently. This girl is sitting at her desk, working very hard, writing something down. Maybe she's drawing, or maybe she is actually practicing her signature over and over again. After I had finished sketching out the girl, I outlined her in black and then erased. I also used my Cali Art markers, the alcohol markers, to color in the girl. And then for her hand, it actually looks like a foot. What? If you actually look at that left hand, that looks like a foot. That is because I didn't have a proper reference for the left hand, and hands are very hard for me to draw. Would you rather have feet for hands or hands for feet? Comment down below. I also gave her a bright pink shirt. I also decided to color her hair a reddish brown color. I figured, you know what? We already did a pink shirt. We did some pink lips. Let's make this girl a strawberry gal. I was feeling it. I like pink. Marissa, why didn't you draw yourself since this is supposed to be your signature? Yeah, it's not me. I honestly just did not realize that I would want this to be me drawing my own signature until it was too late and I had already drawn her, and I like her with the reddish brown hair. I realized that my hair doesn't really have reddish brown in it. So here I'm putting my signature over and over again, and I am doing different variations slightly. Most of them are the same, but there are different variations here and there. I was testing out different elements to my signature. For the most part, I feel like I settled on what I want my signature to look like. While I was doing this, I actually discovered that I really like the full Bellamena written out in the signature, so I think I might try to incorporate that into my channel somehow. And this is what the final thing turned out looking like. I actually really like it. I think it's fun. Okay, so here is the box of 42 Artistro paint pens. The packaging is very nice. On the back, we have all of the colors. There are 42 of them. You can see that this is water-based, multi-surface, and quick drying. It's the extra fine tip. We're also bringing out our medium tip. There are 30 of these. On the back of this one, we have directions. You shake, push, and then draw. Okay, easy enough. Something I really like about these pens when compared to Posca paint pens is that you can actually see how much paint is in your pen, dumping the whole box on the table. The pens also come with a free ebook with instructions and different pictures of things to do. I haven't used that, but it's nice it's there. And I'm showing you that there's liquid in here. It's kind of went out of focus. But these are all of the pens, and I'm super excited to use all of the colors, especially that highlighter yellow one. And now it's finally time to take out my Create This book. I'm flipping to Just Kidding. So I wrote down all of the pages that I haven't done yet. I was feeling spontaneous. Actually, I was feeling very indecisive and didn't know what to do. So now I've randomly chosen the alien page. Create an alien. Draw what you imagine an alien looks like. So I started off drawing a flying saucer. What is this called? A alien spaceship.
A spaceship.
Just take a moment, pause, and really take in that bright highlighter yellow. Are they kidding? I'm obsessed with the fluorescent yellow color. I think it's my favorite color that Artistro offers. I will say, just in general, right up front with trying Artistro's paint pens, I just really like the color options that they have. With paint pens, it can be tricky because you can't mix the colors, so you really have to have good colors up front that are in your pens, and I really like these colors. They've got some cool, funky ones like this bright yellow one, and they've got a lot of pastels, but they also don't have all pastels. They have a nice selection. Plus, they also come with metallics, gold and silver. As you can see, I have a rainbow coming out of our spaceship, and there's a cute little alien sitting on this rainbow slide. This is now the second time I've made a rainbow slide. Is this my new thing?
No.
It's supposed to be like one of those like abducting things, but I made it a slide. And I also made the slide slimy. It's very drippy and wet. That's disgusting. And we have the star of the show. He may be small, but he's #1 in our hearts. I absolutely love this alien. So basically I'm making white drips in the background by coloring in black. Or I guess you could look at it as black drips on a white background. Ah, I'm adopting him. It has pigtails, need I say more? Okay, this is what it looks like in the book, and then I added my signature and the date, and here is the final result of this Create an Alien page. I absolutely love this. I think this is my new favorite that I've done so far. I love the background with the black and white and the rainbow and the cute alien. It's just mwah. Okay, moving on, we're doing create cuts through layers. There's so many options. You could do layers of hair, layers of an onion.
What?
But my job here today is to test out all of the colors that Artistro has to offer. So I decided to do a layered cake. I know it's very basic, but I wanted to. I'm a basic gal, what can I say? Someone called me basic and cringy this week, so I cannot confirm or deny if that is true. It is.
Mystery solved, guys.
Anyway, so I colored in that chocolatey part with the medium tip, and I will say I think I needed a slightly larger tip to cover that much space. The other thing I'd like to note about these pens is when you're using them, you actually have to press much lighter than you think. I'm the type of person that when I hold a pen or a pencil or even one of these paint pens, I press very hard. I realized about halfway through that pressing so hard was actually scratching off some of the paint. So you can kind of see when you look at the rainbow part, it looks way less streaky than the top chocolate part. And that's honestly my fault. If I just pressed lighter, I probably would have got better results on the chocolate part on top of the cake. After the base colors were down, it was time for my favorite part, the details. So I took out just like different shades of the same colors and added some shading, little highlights and stuff. Went over the green because I didn't like that one as much. Added some chocolate drips down the sides of this giant cake slice. It's quite a large indent that's been made into this round cake. I also added some white highlights to the chocolate drips and parts of the cake, and then sprinkles. So I wanted to cover the top with sprinkles to make it more colorful. Lots of sprinkles. And then I also made a shadow for every single tiny individual sprinkle. So that took forever. I also added shadows to the chocolate drips and the bottom of the cake, and then it was time to move on to the giant gaping hole in the center of the cake. Yes, it's going to be a mountain of sprinkles. I don't know if you guys have seen those cakes, you probably have, that have the sprinkles in the center when you cut it open. That's what I'm going for. I also added the shadows to all of those and highlights to every individual sprinkle on this cake. I added my signature and the date. I also wrote create layers on the top of it because I had covered the prompt. This is what it looks like in the book. And here is the final result of my rainbow layer cake with the sprinkle center. So far, I really like the results of using these Artistro paint pens on paper. I haven't tried it on other surfaces. Maybe I'll do that in some other videos. But I enjoy the way this one came out. Up next, we have create patterns, and we mysteriously already have a paper that's cut, if I can open it. We have create patterns, fill this page with patterns. So for this one, I really like the front of these boxes, so I'm gonna try to replicate something similar with these colors. Oh my gosh, I forgot to mention, Artistro also gave me a coupon code for you guys, so it's 10 Bellamena. The link is in my bio, you can use it, and you get 10% off. How do I explain this page? Agony. 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 I did not like the process of making this page whatsoever. No, we're not doing any of this.
Ah.
I love these patterns. I think they look really nice. Keyword, they look nice. But they are agony to create. And for some reason, every time someone describes using these patterns, they always go, oh, it's so relaxing. Oh, I love making them. They're so relaxing and mindless. No. Relaxing. These things stress me out. I struggle so much to come up with a pattern for these. I just never know what to draw. I feel like they're just so random that it stresses me out, and I don't know what I'm supposed to be drawing in this pattern. So to solve that problem, I just followed Artistro's box, and I like that. It looks nice. But then I had to do that a second time. And that's when I draw the line. I can't do the same thing over and over again. I realize that that is what a pattern is, just doing the same thing over and over again. Maybe that's just what I have a qualm with, honestly. Maybe this is just a me problem. I like the results of these things. I like looking at them. I just hate the process of making it. I don't want to do it again. Ah, more work. And I filled the blank spot with, you guessed it, the same exact pattern, yeah. And then I added some hearts to this because I was done making this pattern over and over again. It was exhausting, and I needed something easy to do, so I just filled it with hearts. Which, you know what, I think was for the best. I think it turned out probably better than if I had attempted more of those patterns in the corners. But this is what it looks like. It's shiny, and here it is in the book. I also added a metallic outline to the window to the prompt, as well as my signature and the date. And here it is again, I'm showing how shiny it is. Overall, I really like the way this turned out, but I will not be doing these patterns again. I like the way they look, it's just I hate repeating the same thing over and over again. It becomes tedious to me, and I hated the process of making it. Okay, so here's my Create This book, and I'm flipping to the page that says, Create a different drawing. Try drawing something you've never drawn before. Choose something random and have fun with it. For this page, I decided to use a separate piece of paper, cut out the triangle, and I started sketching strawberries. This is different for me because I have not yet drawn a realistic fruit in my Create This book. I'm taking out my Cali Art markers, a bit of a redundant name, but they have many colors. I'm picking out my red. One method I've been really loving with Create This book is using my alcohol markers for a base color and then going back in with my Prismacolored pencils. I like it because alcohol markers give a nice even color underneath, and then I can add shading on top of that. Whoa, I don't know if I like the way I just edited that. That was very dizzying. I'm gonna vom, but I'm not changing it. So I took out my green alcohol markers and then colored in the leaves of every strawberry. This, of course, is looking very flat and is also making me slightly dizzy. After coloring in all of the leaves with the green alcohol marker, it was time for my favorite part, the shading. Did that sound sarcastic? I actually like shading the most. To shade each strawberry, I took a darker red color for the outside, an orange color for the center, and then a white color for a smaller part of the center, and I blended it all together. I did slightly alter where I put the shades depending on the shape of the strawberry and the angle it was at, but in general, I just tried to make the strawberries darker on the outside and lighter in the center. Let's talk about my feelings for this page. If you're new here, my rule for Create This book is that I have to incorporate my feelings into every page. Whenever I create a page about food, I always struggle to come up with a feeling other than I want to eat it.
Fair enough.
So I love strawberries. They're definitely one of my favorite fruits. I think most of us know how I feel about kiwi, though. Strawberries, on the other hand, those are probably one of my favorite fruits. I will fight every last one of you that disagree with me. Strawberries are the best, and there's nothing you can do to change my mind. Something I love about strawberries is by my house we have farms, and you can go strawberry picking during strawberry season. Guys, it's strawberry season. We eatin'. So I've been eating a ton of strawberries, and I cannot wait to go strawberry picking. I love it. I decided to color the background this color, and I ran out of ink. I had to change it to this slightly darker color and color the whole thing over again, which is quite annoying. This happens to me too much with alcohol markers. It's just because they run out so fast. I took out my white gel pen for the highlights, and this is when everything starts to come together at the last possible second. I took my gel pen and went over the strawberries in the spots that I thought would be highlighted. I was trying to make these strawberries look as juicy as possible, hence all of the highlighting. I took an orange colored pencil and went over the highlights in some spots to make it look a tiny bit more cohesive. I used my brown colored pencil for the strawberry seeds. I also gave each individual strawberry seed a tiny highlight with the gel pen, and I feel like this is what made things actually look realistic. I took a dark black-ish brown color and gave a shadow underneath each of the strawberries to make it look like it's actually sitting on like a table or something. And here's what the final thing looks like in the book. I'm actually really happy with this one and a little surprised, to be honest with you. I'm not very good at realism, and I always feel like I'm bad at it. And I know this isn't perfect. I feel like the highlights are probably kind of exaggerated, but I actually like this page. Moving on to the next page. Create contrast. Think of a pair of opposites and present them together on this page. I took a separate piece of paper, folded it in half, and I took out my Micron fine liner pen. So for this page, I decided to do a contrast between light and dark. Is this theme a little bit of a basic choice? Yes, it was literally put in the description of the prompt, but I was very inspired by the idea of light and dark, especially when you consider using fine liner pens for flowers. So the idea for this is I'm going to be creating black and white flowers with my Micron pens on the left side, and then on the right side, I'll create flowers with the Micron pens, but I'll actually color them in. So it'll be a difference between having things in black and white and things in color. Let's talk about my feelings for this page, because it kind of plays into why I chose to do a black and white versus color theme. So recently, I have been working pretty hard to get ahead on videos, and I've been working at all hours of the day and night. At night, things are dark, and they have less color, especially outside. If you're gonna look at flowers outside at night, they really have less color. They're kind of black and white. And then when it gets light out in the morning, everything's bright and it's very colorful with the sun shining on it. I don't even know what this feeling is. Where's my feelings wheel when I need it? Motivated. I've been feeling motivated to get work done, to do more work, to work harder. There is beauty at night and in the morning, you know, in dark times and in light times, there's still flowers. They exist. Just wake up and smell the roses. It's actually kind of funny to think about flowers at night. Like, what are they doing at night? I mean, really think about it. They're just always there, even in the dark. Unsettling. So I suppose the contrast here could be all about perspective. If you look at flowers in the dark, they're not gonna have any color. But if you look at them in the light, my God, they're gonna be beautiful.
At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it.
What? It's time for some color. I'm taking out my markers. I chose a yellow color for the background. I chose a light pink color for 2 of the flowers. Chose this purple color for the top right flower. I used a dark green color to give a green color to the stem and the leaves. And then I went back to that purple color for the bottom left. Are they kidding with that blue color? It's so pretty. I also used some darker colors to give some shading as well as some highlights with my gel pen for all of the flowers and the leaves and the petals. I signed my name, added the date. I also decided to write create contrast on both of the stems so I would actually remember what this prompt was. And here's what it looks like in the book. I haven't used my Micron fine liners in my Create This book yet, so I was pretty happy with the results of those pens. And I also like that it looks kind of sketchy. It wasn't really too much pressure to create. I kind of just did whatever I felt like doing. It's honestly always fun for me when the pages I don't really plan out too well end up looking good. Pizza bagel break. I made myself pizza bagels and I kind of burnt them a little, but they still tasted good. Create chaos is our next page. Figure out a way to make this page look chaotic. And boy, did I make it look chaotic. We're giving everyone a warning here. I took out my paints. I did red, yellow, and blue. I have big jugs of them. And I also mixed together these paints. So I have purple being mixed here. It's kind of a gross purple. And then I also have orange mixed here. And then I also mixed green. It's kind of a puke green.
Gross.
Oh my God!
Ooh, these are shiny paints. Here's your warning. This page did not turn out looking good. It was more about the chaotic process of making it than it was about the end result, if that makes sense. I decided to really commit to the concept of this page being the most chaotic thing you have ever seen. So the first thing I did was just splatter paint all over the page. It created some weird pockets that kind of still had wet paint in it. Now let's fold it in half, splat the paint down, and open it back up.
Great.
That's pretty chaotic, but what would make it more chaotic? Maybe some fabric paint? So I took my black fabric paint. Ooh, that was a mistake right there. That was real chaos. But I just made random flowers as well as my signature. Didn't really think about it. I also took out some of my neon-y fabric paints that I was running out of. I used the remainder of those to give these flowers some color. And at this point, I think we can all agree that this is pretty chaotic. I personally don't really like this page. This is what it looks like in the book. My feeling for this page, I forgot to mention, was just being free and doing whatever. Just de-stressing, I guess. Create a page of quotes. Fill this page with inspirational quotes. I'm using a pencil on a separate piece of paper and sketching out the words that I will be using. I took out my bendy ruler. I'm showing you that it bends. I think we get it. Okay, this is crazy. Do you see that dot right there? That was my guess for the center of the page. I then measured the real center and got the exact same spot.
911, what's your emergency?
I don't know what this means for me, but I'm scared. I drew all those lines, erased them a little bit. I took out my Micron fine liner and outlined the inspirational words of choice for this page, which I will explain to you in a second. I took out my pack of Cali art markers. I don't know how many are in here. There are a lot. That is not a marker. That is a Posca paint pen. Get away. And here are the colors of choice for this page. I started off with the pink marker and then outlined and colored in each of these little triangle pizza things, I guess you could call them. I don't know what I'm saying. What are they? They're like little things radiating from the center. You might be thinking to yourself, radiate kindness. Why that? That's not even an inspirational quote. It's not. I actually saw it on a box in a Michaels store. But there are 3 reasons why I chose radiate kindness for the quote on my quote page. Do you want to know the 3 reasons?
No.
Great. Reason number 1 is that this was the phrase that had the least number of letters. I had several other quotes in the running, such as, do small things with great love. That's Mother Teresa, and that's on my phone case. I also had, let your light shine. I love those quotes, but they're very long, and I can't do them in bubble letters. Reason number 2 relates to my feelings. If you're new here, every page of Create This Book, I have to incorporate my feelings, and I will explain that in a second. But first, I got new Prismacolor Premier colored pencils. There's 132 in this. Is that not insane? Look how many colored pencils there are. Look at that selection. I'm so excited to use this for the first time. But back to my feelings. You know when you meet those people that they just genuinely radiate kindness? They're just like always friendly and nice and you go, oh my gosh, so-and-so is so nice and they're just nice to be around. I feel like that's a good thing to aspire to. One of my goals in life is just to be someone that people feel comfortable being around, and I feel like radiate kindness is a really good way to capture that. There may be a ghost in my room because, but what the heck was that? The third reason is a little bit harder to explain because it involves being inside of my brain. I like the idea that radiate reminds me of the sun. It reminds me of like rays of light shining and radiating out. And I love combining that with kindness because kindness also looks like sunlight to me. So then when you're radiating kindness, you're just having some kind of sunshine burst out.
What?
I don't know if that makes any sense. Here's what it looks like in the book. I know that the Looney Tunes has a circle on their thing, like red circles, but for some reason, every time I look at this, it looks like the Looney Tunes for me. I keep just going, wow, that looks like the Looney Tunes, but it's not the same at all. Anyway, we're gonna move on to the next page. Create a page of notes. Take notes on something mundane. How do I say this without offending people? I don't love this page. I love Create This Book, but this page is just not my favorite. And the reason is I'm not conceptually on board with taking notes. Not from a school perspective. I actually love taking notes. When I was in school, I used to take crazy detailed notes. And when I'm in my job, I actually take really extensive notes for no reason other than I just like taking notes. But in the context of Create This Book, I'm not super on board with taking notes for a couple of reasons. The first reason being I don't really want to write a lot of words in my Create This Book. I'm more into drawing. I think there was another page that was similar. It was like record a conversation. I think I'm just bad at that, so I kind of had to just be a little bit more creative with it. Instead of writing physical notes, I instead started creating music notes. So you can see there's a rainbow flowing through this page, and that is actually supposed to be the music staff. Like when you read music, you read it off of a staff. I think in the UK it's called a stave. I also drew a little bear that is listening to the music. You'll notice that his ears are not really connected or touching the earphones at all. Can our little bear hear the music? Probably not, but I really just drew it like that because I thought it looked cuter that way. I colored in the music notes with the same color that the bear was colored with, and then also made the little drippy things that were on the music the same color as the bear's eyes and headphones. After my base colors were down, I took out my colored pencils and started on the shading. The first thing I did was made sure that everything looked like it kind of popped out. I added some drop shadows to the notes and to the bear and the rainbow. And then I started shading in opposite rainbow order. And what this means is basically the red got purple, the orange got blue, the yellow got green, the green got yellow, the blue got orange, and the purple got pink. If you have no idea what I just said, basically I used the wrong colors for shading on purpose because I thought it would look cool. Time for the highlighting, the best part. This is my favorite part because there were so many things that I got to highlight on this page. Oh, the eyes! Aww. I added highlights to the music notes and then I focused on the rainbow staff. My goal for the rainbow was to make it look like it held some sort of electricity. I think of music and I think of electric. I don't know why. I signed my name and the date, and this is what it ended up looking like in the book. I'm really happy with this one. I think it's weird. It's a little different. I love the way the eyes on the bear came out. My feelings for this page were that I didn't really want to follow the prompt exactly. I also really like music, and I just like the way this page turned out looking. I feel like it looks like music feels, especially the shading being different colors. I feel like that, I don't know, just looks like music to me. Up next, we have Create Nostalgia. Make this page sentimental. The background is pink, and things are different now. I actually made this page a long time ago, and I ran out of the pink oak tag. That is why the background has changed color. My bad. Anyway, so for this page, I decided to draw a slinky, as you can probably kind of tell at this point. If you don't know what a slinky is, it's a toy that's made out of plastic or metal, and it kind of just like slinks around. I have no idea how to describe a slinky. Yes, of course, the National Toy Hall of Fame. How could I forget? It looks like it was created in 1943. That is older than I thought. This page relates to my feelings for obvious reasons. It's nostalgic. I think of a slinky, and I think of myself as a kid with my sister trying to get our slinky to go down the stairs in one shot. I don't know if we were ever successful because we have very tall stairs, but I know we tried a lot. Okay, wait, this was my favorite part of the drawing process. I added shading to the bottom part of the slinky so it looked like it was sitting on a surface, and then I really darkened up the shading underneath it, and I feel like that made it look really realistic. Like, all of a sudden, it was actually sitting on a surface. I used my white gel pen to give some highlights to the rings of the slinky. Let's talk about the background. I was not sure what color to color the background with. I ended up choosing this peachy tan color. It kind of looks like a skin tone, and I kind of hated my choice for a little bit. But now that I've had some time to digest it, I think I like it. These types of flowers always remind me of the flowers that were on Britney Spears' CD when I was little, so that's why I added those. I added my signature and the date. Yes, I made this in May. And here it is in the book. I really like this page. I think it's a little bit different from my usual Create This Book pages, but I enjoy it. I think it's interesting, and I like that I attempted to make something that's realistic, even though it still has like a cartoony vibe. I feel like it fits with my style. Let's find the page we are going to create on. Where is it? Not this one. This one. Yes. Create a pet. To start off this page, I took out my pencil and sketched a pet on the page, and then I also took out my eraser and erased all of the lines until you could barely see anything at all. Now that it looks like I've done basically nothing on this page, I am trying to decide what color scheme to go with for the dog. I came up with so many color schemes, and I hated every single one of them. But what I did know was I wanted the dog to be tan, and I wanted the ears and the bow to be a different color. A color that I could not decide on. But since I had at least decided that the dog would be tan, I started with that. Now, if you're new here, my rule for Create This Book is to incorporate my feelings into every single page of the book. This rule, the rule to incorporate my feelings, is a self-inflicted torture of sorts. It does make my Create This Book a little bit harder for me to create on. Over time, this rule to incorporate my feelings has kind of morphed into me just giving my general feelings about the topic of the page. For this Create a Pet page, I decided to incorporate my feelings about getting a pet. What kind of pet do I want? A puppy. What do I want it to look like? Energetic and friendly? Any special decorations? I know this is not realistic, but every single time a pet has a heart around its eye, it's just over for me. I'm in love. What kind of accessory do I want on my pet? A giant bow. And here is where my feelings become very strong. For some unknown reason, I've been very interested in ribbons and bows recently. If you have a big bow on top of something, it just instantly makes it like 10 times cuter. I don't know if this was just my high school, but when I was in high school, the big thing was everyone would wear their hair half up, half down with a big bow in it. Like, I actually have a bow in every single color of the rainbow because I would wear a bow in my hair every day. And this has since gone out of style, at least I think it has. I don't really see anyone wearing bows. Anyway, this is my long way of saying I think we should bring bows back. Who's with me? Who wants to wear a bow? Do I sense your hesitation? Yep, I'm with you. There's a hesitation there, and I'll tell you why. For some reason, people view wearing a bow as some kind of personality descriptor. Like, the second I wear a giant bow, now I'm a bow person. You ride a horse, you're a horse girl. You wear a bow, you're a bow person. I just don't understand why it can't be something that's casual. Why can't I just wear a giant bow in my hair every once in a while and have a nice day? I'm freeing myself of these chains I have created, and I will be wearing a bow soon. Maybe. So my goal for this pet was to make it as cute as humanly possible. And to do that, I incorporated A, the bow, B, the heart around its eye. When I was coloring the tan part, I did leave a space blank for this pink heart. The mouth is a bit too small, but we'll go back to that in a second. After we color in the eyes, I decided to make the eyes purple because I wanted it to match the purple bow. After coloring in the eyes, I felt like the face was missing something, so I did give it some blush, and then I realized the problem. The mouth is too tiny. So I made the nose and the mouth bigger and then made the tongue even bigger. I gave our puppy some eyelashes, and now it's time for the background. I took out this yellow color and decided to paint the background. While I was painting, I was looking at this puppy and going, what is your name? What's your name? What's her name? What's her name? What's her name? I took out my matte decoupage and gave a nice coat of that to the page, and I decided to name this little pup Lucy. I feel like Lucy is a pretty girly name, and this puppy is definitely pretty girly. To finish up this page, I took out my pink, purple, and yellow Posca paint pens and just added little hearts to the background. I just really liked the heart that was around the eye, and I wanted that to be incorporated into the background in some way. I then also took my white pen and added some highlights to the eyes, as well as different parts of the puppy, just to make everything stand out a little bit more. I feel like highlights like this make things look a little bit more cutesy, which is what I was going for. And here is what the final page turned out looking like. I'm really happy with this one because I love how cheerful it looks. I feel like pets are often really cheerful, especially puppies. They're really energetic and happy, and I feel like that comes across really well in this page. I also really like the way I incorporated the ribbon and the heart around the eye. Overall, I'm pretty happy about this one. Let's move on to the next page. Up Up next, we're moving on to the page that says create art with wax. Decorate this page using only wax. I've seen a lot of people do this page and use only crayons because crayons are made out of wax. I, however, do not really like using crayons, so I will be using colored pencils, which I actually did not think were wax-based until I googled it, and it turns out Prismacolor Premieres are wax-based, which I guess I should have known. That probably should have been obvious to me, but I did not realize that. At this point, I've basically erased all of my drawing, and you can't really see it anymore, but I am drawing a bear that is dipping his hands into candle wax. The drawing is made with wax-colored pencils. I am also drawing candle wax. A lot of wax on this page. So why did I draw a bear, and why is this bear dipping his paws into hot candle wax? Looks painful. The reason for this actually relates to my feelings. When I was little, I used to love dipping my fingers and hands into hot wax. What? Candle wax, to be more specific. I don't know if everyone did this when they were little, but my mom had these candles that would be like huge candles with a lot of wax in them. I would dip my whole hand into them. Did it burn? Yes. Initially, it was very, very hot, but as you dipped and re-dipped layer after layer of candle wax, a thick sculpture of candle wax would form around your fingertips, and it was very cool. Now, I don't want you guys to listen to this and go, wow, I should start dipping my fingers into candle wax. No. No one should do that. I don't want to get sued. No one dip your hand in candle wax. This is something that I did, and when I read the page, create art with wax, I was like, you mean my candle wax hand sculptures? No. And that is what I decided to draw. So I guess this page is kind of nostalgic for me. After painting the background blue, I took out my white paint pen and just gave a nice white outline to the bear and also added glimmers to the eyes. Well, I guess the glimmers were already there, but I went over them because they looked a little too boxy. I felt like the background was a little too blank, so I took out my Posca paint pens and added some colorful polka dots just to bring everything together. I added my signature to the top right corner of the page, and this is what the final page turned out looking like. I'm in particular pretty excited about the idea that a bear is typically shown with a honey pot and honey on it, and I made my bear a candle bear, a bear that is interested in melted candle wax. It's a little strange, I'll give you that, but I'm pretty happy about it, and I'm ready to move on to the next page. Up next, we're moving on to the page that says, create a page of checkers. Put checkers here. For this page, I was feeling like doing something completely different. I was feeling like I just wanted to de-stress and unwind. So I guess that is kind of part of my feelings for this page. I wanted to de-stress. This plan to de-stress quickly went south. Let me back up and start by saying drawing random lines in this manner is actually a very good way to de-stress. You don't have to have a plan, it doesn't have to look good, it's just lines, and that's really it. Here comes the problem. I decided to draw these lines in an effort to de-stress, which worked initially. However, I drew these lines on the checkers page. Create checkers. In case you haven't been paying attention, these are lines. Now, before you get all down on me and say, well, why didn't you plan ahead for this? I did. I was planning on making these checkers all along. I thought it would be fun to create a really drippy looking checkered board that kind of looks like deflated hot air balloons. And I successfully did that, but what I did not successfully anticipate was how utterly annoying it would be to color in all of these little tiny boxes. The amount of times my colored pencil breaks is actually astounding. I think I'm pressing too hard.
Oops.
I entered this page trying to de-stress, and I did momentarily do that, but ultimately I walked out of this page more stressed than when I had started. And you know what? If the goal here was to express my feelings, which is stress, I would say mission accomplished. When you see this page, you're gonna look at this and you're gonna go, wow. Now that is the most stressful thing I have ever laid eyes on. After I was done coloring in all of these tiny boxes, I fell to my knees, thank God, and took out my black Posca paint pen. Using that black paint pen, I went back over some of the darker parts of the checkerboards, and here is what the final page turned out looking like. My very stressful, deflated hot air balloon checkerboard that took a million years to complete. If you like it, thank you. If you hate it, I'm so sorry. I switch between absolutely hating it and really loving it. Create a page for your favorite character. Last video, I did my first ever figurine makeover, and I am obsessed with my Lemon Poppy Dalmatian. I realized that this prompt
Technically says.
to draw your favorite cartoon character. I'm assuming a cartoon character from a TV show or maybe a comic book, but I decided to bend the rules a little bit and just use my own personal character that I created myself. I don't know why I show these sketches, because I erased them and it looks like I did nothing. Taking out my 3 different cups of Prismacolor Premier colored pencils, I've recently decided to organize them in cups. It works better for me than the tin they come in. We're starting off this drawing with the leaves. Lots and lots of leaves. They're just everywhere. If you guys follow my Create This Book series, you might know that my rule for my Create This Book is to incorporate my feelings into every single page. Over time, this has become quite a difficult rule to follow through on, but I am determined to still incorporate my feelings. For this page, I was obviously feeling excited about my Lemon Poppy Dalmatian character. When I first created my Lemon Poppy Dalmatian character, I thought to myself, surely I can't be the first person that thought of this idea. But I've been looking all over the internet, and I think I truly was the first person or one of the first people to make a character like this. I personally have not been able to find even one other drawing of a Lemon Poppy Dalmatian. So I have reason to believe that I was the first person to create a Lemon Poppy Dalmatian. As a result, I am feeling quite original. Like, wow, this is my own original character that no one else has really done before, and I'm really happy with it. And I wanted to document that feeling of originality on this page. Now that I've explained to you my feelings for this page, I'm going to move your attention back to the weird scene that I'm drawing on this page, because it's a bit odd. And I think it does warrant some explanations. This is a bit of a weird idea, but everyone hear me out. What if there were lemons that grew Lemon Poppy Dalmatians out of them? It's kind of like a baby nursery, I'm imagining, where we have little baby puppies and they're growing out of the lemons. Each of these puppies are at various stages of development. Some are smaller, some are bigger. They all have different moods. Some are very upset to have been born. Some have a sour face on. Others are sleeping. Others have just a derpy face. It really depends. I realize that this concept makes no sense and is very weird, but I will say that's kind of the reason that I like it. For me, the best kind of art is the kind of art that is just a little bit weird, where you look at it and you go, why is this happening? Why are Dalmatians growing out of lemons? And why is it so cute? I don't know. What is going on here? Copy, it's you, but stronger. In general, I'm pretty happy with the way this page came out. I will say I'm not too sure about the way I did the lines with the stripes around it. It's like I kind of like it, but I also kind of don't. Let's move on to the next page. Up next, we're flipping to the page that says, create a page from the past. Attach something from the past here. Photos, documents, old drawings, etc. When I was younger, I used to really love Milky pens, which were basically just gel pens, but better. So I got myself some gel pens and also printed out this photo. I was definitely a bit older when I took this photo, but I still had my Milky pens from when I was in elementary school, and I used to draw on my hands with them. This is a photo example of some of the things that I used to love drawing with my Milky pens. I decided to dedicate this page to all of the doodles that I used to draw as a kid with my Milky pens. Since this page is from the past and I was a child when I was drawing with my Milky pens, a lot of these drawings are going to be very simplistic doodles. They're not very elaborate. These are doodles that a child could draw with a Milky pen on their hand, so they're not very complex. This is a lightning bolt. This is a diamond. Very simple, but also very cutesy, and they're definitely very 2000s because that is when I was in elementary school. As far as my rule goes for this page, I was definitely feeling very nostalgic while using these gel pens. It was reminding me of my Milky pens. And then I remembered the characters that I would always draw when I was in elementary school. They were like a weird combination between Kirby and Pikmin. They look like Kirby because they're blobs with giant feet, and they look like Pikmin because they have plants growing out of the top of their head. But I used to love these when I was a kid. I would draw them everywhere, all over my notebooks and my folders. I've definitely talked about these little blobs from my elementary school days in other episodes, but it just didn't feel right to have a page from the past without incorporating my little plant people from 3rd grade. I decided I wanted the background to be this purple color, so I did have to painstakingly paint the background by using a very small paintbrush and slowly paint in between all of the little doodles I had painted everywhere until the whole page was purple. When I was done, I took out my white Posca paint pen and I lost it. Literally lost it in my room. It somehow got like thrown somewhere. I had to use my Artistro white paint pen instead. It wasn't really that big of a deal because my white Posca paint pen was actually running out of paint, and my Artistro paint pen also is kind of like becoming watery. I don't really know. Either way, the white paint pens are just a mess for me. I need new ones. I used the black gel pen to outline all of these little doodles and characters. I felt like the white outline made everything disappear. Oh no, where are the characters? I can't see them. They need a black outline. I also added some white highlights and glimmers on each of the doodles so that they have an extra pop. And last but not least, to seal in everything that I've done, I used a matte decoupage. And here is what the final page turned out looking like. I realize that each of these doodles individually are very simplistic, but I kind of love it only because it reminds me of my childhood. It's very nostalgic for me. Each of these little cartoons are definitely something that remind me of the past, and that is why I love it. Let's move on to the next page, which is create an ink blot. Drop ink, paint, or any other colored fluid onto it. This is my Wreck This Journal, and there was a page about dripping, so my intention here is to not create another butterfly. I feel like with these kinds of pages where you're dripping or dropping paint onto the page and kind of just like making an ink blot, closing the page, my only goal for this was to not create another butterfly. But when I opened this page, I soon discovered it looked exactly like a butterfly. I honestly don't know how that happened. I literally was intentionally trying to not make a butterfly, and somehow I still made a butterfly. In psychology, I'm pretty positive an ink blot, they like have you look at it and then they have you like comment on what it looks like, and it's supposed to like psychologically mean something. I'm not a psychologist and I know nothing about this, but I feel like it has to mean something that I looked at this ink blot and it looked like a butterfly. Maybe it just really looks like a butterfly, or maybe it's because I have a fear of butterflies. I don't know. Regardless of the reason for me feeling like this still looked like a butterfly, I was determined to not turn it into a butterfly. So I looked at it really hard and I said, what can I turn this into that is not a butterfly? And I saw it. It looks like 2 bouquets of roses. There's a big rose on top. Underneath we've got leaves. And then we've got smaller roses within the leaves. This relates to my feelings perfectly because, as most of you guys know, I am engaged and I'm getting married in the fall. And I'm going to be needing to decide on my bouquet designs. So I feel like this kind of relates to things that I'm going to have to be doing soon. Since this page is the ink blot page, I felt like it was important for the painting I was creating to be blots of paint. I definitely made this painting way more abstract than my typical things are. Usually I make things very clear, very cutesy, very cartoon-like, and this painting is definitely way more abstract, almost like an impressionistic painting, which is ironically actually one of my favorite types of paintings to look at in museums. I love impressionist paintings. I honestly had so much fun making this page, and I really love the result. I hope you guys like it, even though it's not in my typical art style that I do on my channel. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I really appreciate your support again. I had a baby, I went back to work, and I just really need a break. I wanted to make a video explaining, but honestly, I just haven't had the time, so I do appreciate your continued support. I will see you guys next week for another video. Bye!